Chrissy Teigen has resurfaced on Instagram. You may say, but she already came back to social media. We already talked about that.
You talked about it already. Good.
She's been very, very quiet on social media.
Yeah, well,
since the Courtney Stodden conversation
until
resurfaced.
Direct messages came to light where she told Courtney Stodden to off herself.
Yes. So
that is to take her
own life. Yes. So Chrissy Teigen kind of disappeared, and I don't really know. Did I miss her? No. But some people did, and they've been begging for her to come back. Well, for a
person who eats and breathes and sleeps Twitter and social media, it was a noticeable absence.
Right. And, occasionally, just because I report on entertainment news for a living, I will go over to her Twitter and see, has she tweeted? And no. And this is something, she's been back and forth with leaving Twitter, coming back, leaving Twitter, coming back. And then she just figured out how to not tweet. Like, just because you have Twitter doesn't mean you need to tweet all the time. Well, she came back to social media, but not to Twitter. Her debut was on Instagram.
Okay.
And what did she do? You wanted to know. I know.
I wanted to know.
She posted a picture of her with her daughter, Luna, and her mother sitting outside. Her daughter, Luna, is wearing a dance costume from a dance recital. And the caption is just, "So proud of our little dancer."
Okay.
Where is this picture, though? I don't see it on her Instagram.
It's on John Legend's Instagram.
Oh.
So all of this is like, Chrissy Teigen is still a thing, guys. Don't worry about it. She's out and about.
Oh, this sounds very Kris Jenner, in that, remember, Rob Kardashian became toxic on social media because he posted revenge porn of Blac Chyna. And Instagram was like, bye, you can't be on here. And so Kris Jenner started up an account that was about Rob.
Right.
As posted by Kris Jenner Industries.
Right.
And this seems very much like, let's have, Chrissy show up on social media in other places, just not on her own account.
But also, let me throw a wrench in there, or add, I should say. Also, let's make sure that there's a picture of the child in the picture, so that you can't.
You're saying that she perhaps is using the child as a
shield?
Oh,
yeah. I'm just saying, it's all strategic, unless you think it's not strategic.
Well, of course. I mean, I would not expect anything less from a woman who knows how to be successful on social media. I would imagine that everything has been well thought out and planned.
Absolutely. And, to the point that, this is, like you said, Holly, it's not even on her own personal Instagram. It's on John Legend's Instagram. So she's still not using her own social media. But just FYI, Chrissy Teigen is going on with her life just fine. She's smiling. She looks beautiful. And I'm not saying she shouldn't. But what I am saying is this seems like a test balloon. What?
It's so obvious why she's not posting on her own account. I just went to her last post, which was from May 11th, where she printed a page from book 3, My Cozy Classic Red Lentil Soup, which includes such comments as, sorry, not interested in endorsing someone who tells others to unalive themselves.
I mean, and those are coming from just your average everyday Instagram accounts that are not verified, check marked, and other things.
These are not like influencers.
Well, what's fascinating though is when you go back and you look at that John Legend picture that he posted a couple of days ago, the blue checkmark celebrities are piling on and putting on positive comments,
which is all part of the strategy, you guys. Right? It's like float the test balloon, and then get your whole posse of famous people with their blue check marks to comment positive things, so that's what people see. I mean, this is all strategic. And I'm not saying that Chrissy Teigen shouldn't have social media. But what I am saying is social media in a lot of ways is trash. And it's a
very toxic place.
It is a toxic place. And you know what? She was part of the toxicity. and has been, and kind of in many ways continues to be, even though she's not active.
And I would say yes, and created a business model off of social media. So it's almost like, I don't want to just draw like easy comparisons, because I think that this is probably all way more complicated and fascinating, and like there's a lot of things to be curious about in this particular story that I would love to hear somebody do a deep dive, like 7-part podcast about, like her journey through social media, because I think it would tell us a lot. That would be far more valuable to me than like whatever content she was actually publishing, because I didn't follow her personally for just the sake of the content she was publishing, because she was more because she was like a phenomenon. But the thing that I'm fascinated about is like what all of this, like she made a business model out of social media and is now suffering the consequence of that. So like, I'm curious, does she understand then the limits of social media? Did she think that she didn't have to play by the rules of social media? Like, what's her feeling about her role in this, I guess, is my curiosity.
Well, and that's, what I would like
is for her to come on the show and talk to us.
Sure. But I was actually going to say Oprah Winfrey to sit down in a backyard, maybe Gayle King's backyard, with Chrissy Teigen and have that one-on-one conversation, right? I mean, I guess that.
Yes, and I want to watch that, and we would be there and we would cover it live. But I also want to hear about all of the people around her, because this is so much more than her.
Absolutely.
She has a team of people around her.
She does. But they're not there when it's the middle of the night and she's a keyboard warrior herself, right? Because she is. I mean, we know that. We know that a lot of Chrissy Teigen's tweets are Chrissy Teigen actually tweeting them. I would say she might need somebody there to like be the filter of those tweets, because she's gotten herself in trouble before. But I do want to hear her talk about, yes, her team, what they all do, how they're all involved, and just her social media presence, because that is the majority of the space she occupies in the world, right? If you say Chrissy Teigen to the average bear, they might not be able to tell you what projects she's worked on, but they can tell you that she's active on social media.
Well, yeah, most people are going to have sort of a superficial response to her that is probably rooted in a little bit of sexism, probably a certain amount of racism. And like, I wouldn't expect most people to have thought too terribly much about Chrissy Teigen's, role on social media, other than they know that she is a person who says things and probably just think, well, she got what she deserved, which I don't think that's probably fair. But I do think there's a role that I would like to understand more, and how she sees her own responsibility in adding to the things that we don't like about social media.
Right.
Because like, do you understand that you're a very powerful, like, I know she knows all this, but that's why I have all these questions, because I'm like, you're not naive.
Right.
So then what is it?
Well, and
are
then
you cynical about social media, and you just want to, do the best you can for you and your family using social media? Or did you really think you could change social media?
Right.
Because a lot of people sometimes who are very popular think that they have powers that you and I don't have to sort of change things,
to change the tide of something.
Did you think you were going to change Twitter? Because
it's its own animal.
It is a beast.
Also, I just would like to say, I think she has not done enough in response to the Courtney Stodden story.
Yeah.
So it might be time to figure out that strategy also.
Well, right, because we got her apology that she put on Twitter,
and that's all.
And then that's all we've received from that.
This is the thing that I've been thinking about with her is this I'm sure this is a deliberate strategy to not have her on social media at all, because I think now, instead of like constantly over explaining yourself on social media after something like this happens, people like this have determined, that is very famous, visible people have determined that the best thing to do is go bye-bye in the car for a while and not say a thing about anything and stay out until the conversation moves elsewhere.
I'm ready to hear what she has to say, though.
Yeah.
And we got to figure out how she's going to do that. We don't have to. She does. Well, that was fun. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. That's all, folks.